Okay.
Bhagavate Namasloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed or practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama
Idam Bhagavatam Nama
Puranam Brahmasamitam
Puranam Brahmasamitam
Uttama Charitam
Charitam
Sakara Bhagavan Rishi
Chakara Bhagavan Rishi
Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasyaya Namaha
Dhanyam Swasthaya Namaha.
This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Sridham Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Sri Advaita Gadadhara
Sri Advaita Gadadhara
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Surabhyay Namaha
Om Surabhyay Namaha.
Om Surabhyay Namaha
Om Surabhyay Namaha.
Om Surabhyay Namaha
Om Surabhyay Namaha.
Mukam karoti vasanam pangum langayate girim Yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinatadanam Yat kripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinatadanam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You're looking after this today. You're not gonna be here tomorrow. You're leaving today, tomorrow. Yes. Who's going to be doing this tomorrow? Whoever's going to be doing it should be doing it today. Isn't it?
Normally, one class morning, but morning, evening classes, session going, mobile, after charging.
Means the devotees need to be a bit alert as to what is going on. If we're recording twice, then it needs to be charged twice. If there's no responsible in charge, it's not going to happen. And because he's doing it, and he's not going to be here, somebody has to think ahead, isn't it? So who will be doing this tomorrow?
Yes.
Huh?
I will.
Yeah. We are continuing Bhagavatam, Canto number 1, chapter 10. And today we're looking at text number 26.
27. 27.
27. Canto number 1, chapter 10, entitled Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka. Text 27. Yes. Okay. Aho
Aho
Bata
Bata
Swar
Swar
Yashasas
Yashasas
Tiraskari
Tiraskari
Kushastali
Kushastali
Punya
Punya
Yashaskari
Yashaskari
Bhuvaha
Bhuvaha
Pashanti
Pashyanti
Nityam
Nityam
Yad
Yad
Anugraheshitam
Anugraheshitam
Smitavalokam
Smitavalokam
Sva
Sva
Patim
Patim
Sma
Sma
Yat
Yad
Prajaha
Prajaha
Aho Bata Swad Yashasas Tiraskari
Ahovata Swayata
Tiraskari
Kushastali Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha
Kushastali Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha
Pashyanti Nityam Yadanugraheshitam
Pasyanti Nityam Yadunugraheshitam
Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Prajaha
Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Praja
Aho Bata Swar Yashasas Tiraskari
Ahovata Swayasasas Tiraskari
Kushasthali Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha
Kushastali Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha
Pashyanti Nityam Yadanugraheshitam
Pasyanti Nityam Yadanugraheshitam
Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Prajaha
Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Praja
Aho Bata Swar Yashasas Tiraskari
Ahovata Swaryasasya Tiraskari
Kushasthali Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha
Kushastali Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha
Pashyanti Nityam Yadanugraheshitam
Pasyanti Nityam Yadanugraheshitam
Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Prajaha
Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Praja
Aho Bata Swarya Shashastiraskari
Aho Bata Swar Yashasas Tiraskari
Tiraskari
Kushastali Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha
Kushastali
Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha
Shanti Nityam Yadanugraheshitam
Pashyanti Nityam Yadanugraheshitam
Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Praja
Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Prajaha Aho Bata Swar Yashasas Tiraskari
Kushastali Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha Pasyanti Nityam Yadanugraheshitam Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Praja Aho Bata Swaryasas Tiraskari
Aho Bata Swar Yashasas Tiraskari
Kushastali Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha
Kushastali Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha
Pasyanti Nityam Yad Anugraheshitam
Pashyanti Nityam Yadanugraheshitam
Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Praja
Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Prajaha
Aho Bata Swayasasaskari
Aho
Bata
Bata
Swar
Swaryasas
Yashasas Tiraskari
Kushastali Punya Yasaskari Bhuva
Kushastali Punya Yashaskari Bhuvaha
Vasanti Nityam Yadanugrahesitah
Pashyanti Nityam Yadanugraheshitam
Smitavalokam Swapati Sma Yajapraha
Smitavalokam Swapatim Smayat Prajaha
Aho Bata Surya Shashasti Yaskari
Aho Bata Swar Yashasas Tiraskari
कुशस्थली पुण्य यशस्करी भुवा
कुशस्थली पुण्य यशस्करी भुवः
पश्यन्ति नित्यं यदनुग्रहेशेतिं
पश्यन्ति नित्यं यदनुग्रहेषितं
स्मृतावलोकं स्वपतिं यस्य प्रजा
स्मितावलोकं स्वपतिं
स्म यत्प्रजः
अहो बत.
अहोबतः
How wonderful this is.
How wonderful this is.
Swayashah.
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 The glories of the heavenly planets.
The glories of the heavenly planets.
Tiraskari.
Tiraskari.
That which defeats.
That which defeats.
Kushastali.
Kushastali.
Dwarka.
Dwarka.
Punya.
Punya.
Virtue.
Virtue.
Yashaskari.
Yashaskari.
Famous.
Famous.
Bhuvaha.
Bhuvaha.
The planet Earth.
The planet Earth.
Prashanti.
Prashanti.
See.
See.
Nityam.
Nityam.
Constantly.
Constantly.
Yet
Yet.
that which.
That which.
Anugraha isitam.
Anugraha isitam.
To bestow benediction.
To bestow benediction.
Smita avalokam.
Smita avalokam.
Glance with the favor
glance with the favor
of sweet smiling.
Of sweet smiling.
Swapatim.
Swapatim.
Unto the soul of the living being.
Unto the soul of living beings.
Krishna.
Krishna.
Sma.
Sma.
Used to.
Used to.
Yat prajaha.
Yat prajaha.
The inhabitants of the place.
The inhabitants of the place.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Sridham Prabhupada ki. Undoubtedly, it is wonderful that Dwarka has defeated the glories of the heavenly planets and has enhanced the celebrity of the earth. The inhabitants of Dwarka are always seeing the soul of all living beings, Krishna, in his loving feature. He glances at them and favors them with sweet smiles. Kindly repeat after me. Undoubtedly, it is wonderful.
Undoubtedly, it is wonderful
That Dwarka has defeated.
That Dwarka has defeated
The glories of the heavenly planets.
the glories of the heavenly planets
And has enhanced. The celebrity of the earth.
the celebrity of the earth.
The inhabitants of Dwarka
The inhabitants of Dwarka
are always seeing
are always seeing
the soul of all living beings,
the soul of all living beings,
Krishna,
Krishna,
in his loving feature.
in his loving features.
He glances at them
He
glances at them
and favors them
and favors them
with sweet smiles.
with sweet smiles.
Purport. The heavenly planets are inhabited by demigods like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, and Vayu, and the pious souls reach there after performance of many virtuous acts on earth. Modern scientists agree that the timing arrangement in higher planetary systems is different from that of the Earth. Thus, it is understood from the revealed scriptures that the duration of life there is 10,000 years by our calculation. 6 months on earth is equal to 1 day on the heavenly planets. Facilities for enjoyment are also similarly enhanced, and the beauty of the inhabitants is legendary. Common men on the earth are very much fond of reaching the heavenly planets because they have heard that comforts of life are far greater there than on the earth. They are now trying to reach the moon by spacecraft. Considering all this, the heavenly planets are more celebrated than the earth. But the celebrity of earth has defeated that of the heavenly planets because of Dwarka, where Lord Sri Krishna reigned as king. 3 places, namely Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka, are more important than the famous planets within the universe. These places are perpetually sanctified because whenever the Lord descends on earth, he displays his transcendental activities, particularly in these 3 places. They are perpetually the holy lands of the Lord, and the inhabitants still take advantage of the holy places, even though the Lord is now out of their sight. The Lord is the soul of all living beings, and he desires always to have all the living beings in their swarupa, in their constitutional position, to participate in transcendental life in his association. His attractive features and sweet smiles go deep into the heart of everyone, and once it is so done, the living being is admitted into the kingdom of God, from which no one returns. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. The heavenly planets may be very famous for offering better facilities of material enjoyment, but as we learn from the Bhagavad Gita 9:20-21, one has to come back again to the earth planet as soon as the acquired virtue is finished. Dwarka is certainly more important than the heavenly planets, because whoever has been favored with the smiling glance of the Lord shall never come back again to this rotten earth. Rotten earth. Which is certified by the Lord himself as a place of misery. And not only this earth, but also all the planets of the universes are places of misery, because in none of the other planets within the universe is there eternal life, eternal bliss, and eternal knowledge. Any person engaged in the devotional service of the Lord is recommended to live in one of the above mentioned 3 places, namely Dwarka, Mathura, or Vrindavan. Because devotional service in these places is magnified, those who go there to follow the principles and terms of instructions imparted in the revealed scriptures surely achieve the same result as obtained during the presence of Lord Sri Krishna. His abode and he himself are identical, and a pure devotee under the guidance of another experienced devotee can obtain all the results even at present. Translation again. Undoubtedly, it is wonderful that Dwarka has defeated the glories of the heavenly planets and has enhanced the celebrity of the earth. The inhabitants of Dwarka are always seeing the soul of all living beings, Krishna, in his loving feature. He glances at them and favors them with sweet smiles. So these are the continuing prayers of the ladies in Hastinapura before the departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka. So they are remembering, in previous verses they were remembering Vrindavan. Now they are remembering Dwarka, where the Lord is going. And Prabhupada nicely explains how there are special places on this planet throughout the entire universe, throughout the entire material universe. This earthly planet is considered topmost, very, very special. And on this planet, there are these three places that mentioned. Of course, what we know as Bharatvarsha, which is generally referred to as India. Now there is in the last, I think, decade or so, there has been in India arrangements for coming back to the original names, because many names were changed when the British were ruling, and India is therefore very unique in that it has not only these three particular places, but so many different, we call tirthas, holy places, dhams. One can spend a whole life actually just going from one holy place to another. This is what Vidura did, isn't it, for 30 years. And this is the wonderful culture that is in India. Now, of course, it has been negatively influenced by the Western culture, which is primarily materialistic in nature. But one actually, even now I suppose, maybe a bit more challenging, but there used to be these, what is called dharmashala. Anyone ever stay in a dharmashala? Dharmashala, what's a dharmashala?
Means guest house giving facilities free of cost.
Yes, those who are dharmic, those who follow dharma. So usually these dharmashalas are made by what is called Marwadis. Marwadis are...
We have now in Tirupati most of...
Yeah, and so like in many holy places, major holy places, there are still, one could still go there, and you get to stay without paying for the room, and you get free prasadam also.
Yes.
Difficult to beat, you know. So this is because the mood and the mentality is to facilitate people who are following dharma to not have to go through so many difficulties in visiting and having darshan of those special places. In one of his books, Srila Prabhupada explains how Vrindavan is a place of over 5,000 temples, you know, and that is the favorite activity of those who visit Vrindavan, like especially at this time, the best time of the year to be in Vrindavan, month of Kartik, celebrated of the 12 months of the year. As Kartik, which started a few days ago, is attracting hundreds and thousands, and nowadays, of course, not only pilgrims from India, but from outside of India, due to Prabhupada's preaching efforts. People are in large, very large numbers coming to Vrindavan. And Prabhupada explains also, which is of course indicated by the prayers of the ladies in Hastinapura, that whoever is getting this wonderful opportunity of coming in contact with Krishna and able to to have darshan of the Lord's smiling face, Smita Krishna, then that person, within a very short time, he will wind up his existence in this miserable, rotten world. The material world is not our original place. It is a place of suffering. But Shastra is telling, padam padam yadi padam natesham. Natesham. Natesham means not for those who actually take shelter of Krishna. So there are two shelters, two main shelters in the material world. What are the two shelters? Maya's shelter. Maya is providing very nice shelter. Actually, she's more popular because majority of living entities, they take shelter of the Mohini Prakriti. But what happens when we take shelter of the external energy of Maya? Moga sha moga karmano, moga jnana visetasa, rakshasim masurim echaiva, mohinim prakritim sritaha. Asrita. Asrita means shelter, to take shelter. When we take shelter, or when we surrender, you see, we have to surrender somewhere. So devotees, they're described as being the most intelligent because they know where to surrender. Everyone has to surrender. You cannot avoid to surrender. But we should surrender where our miseries will be decreased, not increased. Moga sha moga karma. Moga means bewildered, isn't it? All of our activities, moga sha, asha means all of our desires, all of our plans, plan making. People continue plan making right until still when they're on their deathbed, they're still plan making. You know. So mogasha, all of our karma, all of our activities, all of our plans, moga jnana, all of our knowledge, everything actually becomes lost, and ultimately we find ourselves in a what is called bewildering state of mind. Nowadays, bewilderment is very much prominent in the vast majority. What does it mean, bewilderment? It means confusion. It means no clarity of thought. Bewilderment means full of anxiety, full of stress. One of the major problems in the world today is mental health. Mental health. Actually, that is the condition, the sad state of affairs in the world. People are full of mental health and also full of physical health. There's bodily health and there's gross bodily disease and also subtle mental disorder or disease. So this happens, and this happens more and more when we neglect to take shelter of Krishna's internal energy of Daivi Prakriti. So those who take shelter of Krishna's Daivi Prakriti, they are known as, what are they known as? Mahatmas. Mahatmanastamam partam adayavim prakritim asritaha. And what is the characteristic? Bhajanti ananya manaso. They are engaged in devotional service to the Lord, ananya manaso, without any other thinking, their mind not being deviated. So that is the quality and the characteristics of the residents of Vrindavan, residents of Dwarka, residents of Mathura. When Kamsa is no longer there, they are able to think and remember Krishna. And this is, of course, in the same way that these holy places that are mentioned here, Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka, they are non-different from Krishna. And fortunately, the practice or activity of bhakti, devotional service, also non-different from Krishna. That means that wherever we perform bhakti or devotional service, that place also becomes non-different from Krishna. That means that we can and should introduce Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwarka mood and mentality wherever in the world that we are living. It means that those who are physically, especially when we live far from Vrindavan or Dwarka, Mathura, most people, even most devotees, cannot come very often, and some, probably many devotees, in their lives never come to India. I have god brothers and god sisters who've never come. Although Prabhupada was encouraging, Prabhupada told all the temple presidents, you should arrange that your devotees in your temple, they at least must one time. Actually, he wanted us to come every year. Yeah, Prabhupada was encouraging you every year you come. You have to come every year. To get recharged, to charge the battery, and then to go back and then make Vrindavan wherever. Bless the whole world with the mood and the mentality of Vrindavan. That's what Prabhupada did, and that is what Srila Prabhupada expected. That all of us, we should not simply be satisfied in staying at one place. Our whole purpose is actually the whole world needs to be introduced to this mood and mentality. Ultimately, because this mood and mentality that is there in Vrindavan is what helps us to be connected, to be introduced to Krishna, and that is the perfection of life. So the example here is given. The heavenly planets are very attractive, but they're attractive for materialistic-minded people. Devotees have no attraction for the heavenly planets. Only those who are materialistic, and of course, because most of our scientists nowadays are very materialistic, so they are planning to go, as Prabhupada mentions, planning to go to the moon, planning to go to Mars, to different places like that. So then one might say, but we are here in Mayapur. What's our situation? Mayapur is also Vrindavan. Mayapur, we were discussing how Mayapur is also, it is known as Gupta Vrindavan. Mayapur is hiding. The whole of Vrindavan pastimes are concealed or hidden actually within Mayapur Dham also. So it is we see actually when devotees come to India, especially from outside, they make plans to visit from one tirtha, one holy place to another holy place. So in this way, the ladies are praising, they're remembering and praising these very special places, particularly Vrindavan, Mathura, and Dwarka. And Prabhupada mentions that even though Krishna is no longer physically present, still by visiting those places and by remembering the Lord, one can get the same benefit. One can get the same benefit. So it means that wherever we may be, by taking up to the process of devotional service, then we can reconnect. We can reconnect, and because wherever, just like we have here Krishna and Balaram, so every day, that is the meaning of darshan arati, which comes at 7:30 every day. We have darshan of smiling Krishna and smiling Balaram. And they're looking at what's going on here. They know everything that's going on, by the way. We may think, oh, they're on the altar. When we close the altar, we don't see anything. No. Even when the curtain is closed, they see everything that's going on. What is that?
Krishna Chaitanya is transferring the water into something else.
So these are special places where one, if one can live there, that is wonderful. Or if one cannot live, at least if one can visit. And if one cannot visit, which is the case for most devotees, especially those who are not living in India, or even in India, there are many people who don't come, who don't even know, don't understand. So at least we can read about and hear and try to understand how very special these places are, and what is the primary, why these places are special. Because Krishna has performed his pastimes primarily to attract the living entities back to their natural constitutional position. So we can go to the next verse unless there's some question on this. Okay, text 28. Nunam vrata snana huta dineshvaraha samarsito yasya grihita panibihi pibanti yat sakya daramritam muhura Rajastriya sammumuhur yad ashayaha. Translation and purport. O friends, just think of his wives, whose hands he has accepted, how they must have undergone vows, baths, fire sacrifices, and perfect worship of the Lord, of the universe to constantly relish now the nectar of his lips by kissing. The damsels of Brajabhumi would often faint just by expecting such favors. Purport. Religious rites prescribed in the scriptures are meant to purify the mundane qualities of the conditioned souls, to enable them to be gradually promoted to the stage of rendering transcendental service unto the Supreme Lord. Attainment of this stage of pure spiritual life is the highest perfection, and this stage is called Swarupa, or the factual identity of the living being. Liberation means renovation of this stage of Swarupa. In that perfect stage of Swarupa, the living being is established in 5 phases of loving service, one of which is the stage of Madhurya Rasa, or the humor of conjugal love. The Lord is always perfect in himself, and thus he has no hankering for himself. He, however, becomes a master, a friend, a son, or a husband to fulfill the intense love of the devotee concerned. Herein, 2 classes of devotees of the Lord are mentioned in the stage of conjugal love. One is Swakiya, and the other is Parakiya. Both of them are in conjugal love with the personality of Godhead, Krishna. The queens at Dwarka were Swakiya, or duly married wives, but the damsels of Braja were young girls of the Lord while he was unmarried. The Lord stayed at Vrindavan till the age of 16, and his friendly relations with the neighboring girls were in terms of Parakiya. These girls, as well as the queens, underwent severe penances by taking vows, bathing, and offering sacrifices in the fire, as prescribed in the scriptures. The rites, as they are not an end in themselves, nor are fruit of action, culture of knowledge, or perfection in mystic powers ends in themselves. They are all means to attain to the highest stage of Swarupa, to render constitutional transcendental service to the Lord. Each and every living being has his individual position in one of the above mentioned 5 different kinds of reciprocating means with the Lord. And in one's pure spiritual form of Swarupa, the relation becomes manifest without mundane affinity. The kissing of the Lord, either by his wives or his young girlfriends who aspire to have the Lord as their fiancé, is not of any mundane perverted quality. Had such things been mundane, a liberated soul like Shukdev would not have taken the trouble to relish them, nor would Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have been inclined to participate in those subjects after renouncing worldly life. The stage is earned after many lives of penance. So the ladies in Hastinapur are remembering both the pastimes of the Lord in Hastinapur as well as the pastimes of the Lord in Vrindavan. And of course referring to it is in Vrindavan and Dwarka that the Lord displays his different pastimes with the residents, culminating in what is called Madhurya Rasa, which is Prabhupada elaborating in the purport, differently exhibited in Vrindavan and Dwarka, and can only be understood or appreciated with purified consciousness. Prabhupada gives the example or the reference at the end of the purport that personalities like Shukadeva Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not have glorified these pastimes of the Lord both in Dwarka and Vrindavan unless those pastimes were totally transcendental, which is what Krishna, of course, confirms also in the Bhagavad Gita, that his Janma Karma Samitibhyam, his activities, his appearance in the material world, they are all transcendental. Naturally, because they are ladies, they are thinking about those particular pastimes that the Lord has had with ladies, with the young girls of Vrindavan, and with his wives in Dwarka. Any questions on this? Yes.
In previous words, it is mentioned that the Earth planet is celebrated.
Yes. Earth planet is celebrated. You don't want to celebrate Earth planet?
I mean, I just why I just want to know that why the term used here celebrated in what context?
The Earth planet is celebrated, means glorified.
Okay.
The Earth planet is glorified. Why? Because Krishna performs very special pastimes on this earth, isn't it? The Earth planet, the ladies are speaking about how generally people are attracted to heavenly planets. But the Earth planet is celebrated. Why? Because Dwarka is there, because Vrindavan is there. Dwarka is not in the heavenly planets. Dwarka is on this planet, isn't it? The demigods who are having a much higher material, status of living than we poor humans on this planet, they're hankering to come here when, and they do actually. It's like when Krishna was on the planet, so many demigods, including Lord Brahma, that whole pastime is there, would come to see him in Dwarka. So the Earth planet is celebrated more so than the heavenly planets because of the Lord's presence and pastimes, particularly in Dwarka, Mathura, and Vrindavan. Yeah. There's a whole description of how throughout the whole universe, this bhumi, this planet, is special because somehow Krishna has chosen this planet. It's like Mahaprabhu has chosen Navadvip to make his appearance. So the very appearance of the Lord in Gauramandala Bhumi, we're living in the spiritual world. This is not different from Vrindavan. This is when we go back. Soon, when we go back, to Goloka. In Goloka, there are two sections. One is Navadvip, Mayapur Navadvip, where Gaura Lila is eternally going on, and just beside is Krishna Lila. So Krishna's pastimes is eternally going on, and not only that, but Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, what does he mention, which is very extraordinary in his one of the purports in the Brahma Samhita, in the context of Goloka Vrindavan. Those who are the followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is awaiting those who are the faithful, surrendered followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they will get an opportunity to simultaneously, in Goloka Vrindavan, simultaneously participate in the pastimes of Gaura Lila and Krishna Lila. For us it is inconceivable, because we think we can only be at one place at one time. But in the spiritual world, that is the special mercy of the followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just like we understand from our acharyas also, we cannot properly understand the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, especially his pastimes with the gopis, which is being referred to here, and especially his pastimes with Srimati Radharani, unless we understand the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We cannot attain the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna without taking shelter of the holy lotus feet of Gauranitai. Gauranitai are the ones who are actually introducing us. Mahaprabhu, who is in that mood of separation in Jagannath Puri, and Nityananda Prabhu, who has been ordered to preach in every town and village. Shono, Nityananda, directly given that order to Nityananda and Haridas Thakur. Shono, Nityananda, Shono Haridas, Sarvatra Amaragya. This is my order. Bolo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna Shikha. So that's why at this time, in this Kali Yuga, in this one day of Lord Brahma, it's amazing, we are born in this one particular day. We could have been born in some other day of Lord Brahma, but we are getting this opportunity of taking birth in this particular day of Lord Brahma, where just like yesterday Krishna appeared, and this morning Lord Chaitanya appeared. It's like side by side practically. Still fresh. So that is why this planet is, since time immemorial, it is there in so many references in the Shastra. Punya Bhumi. The whole, of course, Bharat, Prabhupada explains also, Bharat is not only India. Bharat actually is the whole planet. Because when Bharat Maharaj, that's why he is known as Bharat, before Bharat Maharaj, Bharat was not known as Bharat. Yeah, because of his ruling. So in the Vedic, we were reading how Yudhishthira Maharaj was established as not just a king, but as the emperor of the world. So real unity and real happiness will be possible when when dharma, when Sanatana Dharma will be established, and one of the symptoms will be that there will be one emperor for the whole world. When, oh when will that day come? It's actually coming soon. Yeah, because it has been set in motion by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and those who are coming after him, the various preachers, the various acharyas, they are introducing that whole vision, that whole plan, that whole master plan. That is Krishna's plan, isn't it? Dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge, to re-establish the principles of Dharma. So principles of Dharma can properly be established when we follow the prescribed system in terms of governance by having qualified Vaishnava kings, who rule based on the principles of Dharma. So therefore we need Kshatriya Gurukulas. Yeah. And actual Brahmanas must understand the need and the importance of creating Brahmanas. I mean Kshatriyas. Unless we have Brahmanas who have that understanding, then there's something missing. It's like a puzzle. All the pieces have to come together. Then when all the pieces come together, then you can see the real picture. Now the pieces are still
jumbled here and there.
Huh?
Jumbling like here and there.
Yeah, here and there. Mostly there. Not here. Rameshwar Prabhu has become our most serious student. Pen and big notepad. Any other? Yes.
As Krishna is a great personality.
Krishna is a great. That's an understatement.
In Dwarka.
He's the greatest personality.
Yes, in Dwarka. The greatest personality. Is there any description of a protocol how the demigods come and see him?
Okay. The question is, Krishna is a great personality. Of course, he meant Krishna is the greatest personality. He's not just a great personality. So is there a protocol or a system for the demigods to come and have his darshan?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes. Just like in the, we have descriptions in the Shastra, anyone who wants to see the king, Krishna is king, then they have to take an appointment. Lord Brahma, he is described, isn't it, in the 10th canto. He came to Dwarka and he came to the door, knocked on the door. The servant came and says, "Yes, what can I do for you?" "I want to see Krishna." "Who are you?" I'm Lord Brahma. "What do you mean, who am I?" "I'm Lord Brahma." He says, he had him wait. He had Lord Brahma wait. So in other words, the same etiquette, the same protocol that we see even now. To see a big person, you can't just walk in. You know, there's you have to knock on the door somewhere, or you have to make an appointment. Nowadays, we can by cell phone we can make appointments or whatever. So we get a little idea by reading this particular pastime. What was the protocol? the doorkeeper took his message. Then he went to see Krishna, and then Krishna, what did Krishna say? Please go and ask him which Brahma. So he went back, and then he told Lord Krishna, he wants to know which Brahma. Brahma became perplexed. Which Brahma? It's me. So somehow he was taken, and then when Brahma came in the presence of the Lord, he offered his obeisances, and what he saw was totally bewildering to him. As he stood in the front of Lord Krishna, about to offer his obeisances, he saw hundreds and thousands of other Brahmas, some of them with 8 heads, 12 heads, 100 heads, 1,000 heads, 1,000,000 heads, because our Lord Brahma, he only has 4 heads. Only 4.
Only for
Yeah. On each head there's a helmet. So when all the Brahmas, actually Krishna, he arranged it like that. He called all the Brahmas to come when our Lord Brahma came in his presence. And all the Brahmas, they only could see Krishna. They couldn't see the other Brahmas. But our Brahma, he could see he could see all the other Brahmas. And he became totally bewildered. They all offered their obeisances, and it's described that the helmet on their head make
Tinkling sound.
the big sound, because when touching the marble floor and the palace. And then he was seeing all this, our Lord Brahma, and Krishna was talking to each one of them. How is everything going on in your universe? Are the demons, taken care of, like that? And every Brahma from other universe was very satisfied, and after Krishna was speaking to them simultaneously, because Krishna can do that, then they all offered obeisances, thank you for the darshan, and they left. And our Brahma was left totally, yeah. Then he became very humble, and that is nicely described, that he was telling, I feel like I feel like a small ant in front of all these big elephants. What's an ant compared to an elephant? Nothing. So yeah, there is protocol.
I'm asking this question because as a demigod, maybe they be Brahma is the one who created this earth, yes, offspring,
Yeah.
and they may be directly seeing what is going on.
They may.
They may be seeing what is going on the earth.
Okay.
They may see everything going on.
Yeah.
Every movement of anybody they have been seeing. So what is the need again to come from the planet and directly, yes.
No, he came. He came to see Krishna. No.
Yeah. Maybe he is already seen Krishna, even he is in his planet.
No, not like that.
How?
Lord Brahma is not super soul.
Yeah.
He works through so many different agents. Just like a king also, he can be everywhere.
Yeah.
Lord Brahma is physically there.
Yeah.
He can come to different places, but he's not super soul. And even though he's such an exalted personality, to have darshan of Krishna, to have the opportunity to exchange with Krishna is something that is very rare. And so therefore, because the Lord is generally in the spiritual world, Lord Brahma, he shook hands with Krishna at the, after performing his tapasya, after having darshan of the Lord, but he doesn't always get the darshan of the Lord, isn't it? So it's like It's like if you're living like in your country and in your district, and some great personality comes there. So some personality who doesn't come from Togo, who comes to visit, then the president or the big people will want to go and see him. So Krishna is that supreme personality who only comes very rarely to visit personally, in person. So Brahma wanted to come and see him, isn't it? Because it's like, well, I suppose Lord Brahma is very fortunate because every single day Krishna comes once in a day. For us, it's like very long time, but for Brahma, it's not. It's like at some particular time in the day. It's like every day, right? We have 24 hours, and if Krishna would come every day to see us, that would be. So, yeah, Lord Brahma wanted to have the personal darshan of the Lord, but because Lord Brahma is such a, has such big responsibility, he becomes the tendency, like big people, they become like, yeah, no, I'm important and I'm big, and they forget. So Lord Brahma was forgetting that he's not the only Brahma, that there are so many other Brahmas, etc. like that. Okay. I think it's close to darshan time, but not too bad. Well. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Jai Sri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Gaur Bhakti Nandi.
Hari Hari Bol.